Today I'm out here working on my greenhouse deck, and what we did is we did this Japanese burning technique. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I never say it right, so I will put it on the screen. And so what I'm doing today is I'm going through and I'm brushing off all the char off the surface, and then I'm going to blow that off. And then once that's done, I will start putting my oil on them. Okay, this is after the boards are oiled. They're just set in place. I think we have the first 4 or 5 screwed down maybe. But we do have more boards to do. But I wanted to get at least 2 coats on these before the rain started. And I did that. As far as oils are concerned, you can use like tung oil or linseed oil. There are also other oils that will work. You just need to kind of Google and figure out what will work best for you in the project you're doing. That's the best advice I could give on that, because it's kind of what I've done. And that will be the floor for my new greenhouse. It's going kind of slow, but that's because we're trying to do it as right as we can. This is where we're at on the deck. We've got it put together. We've got it oiled. I'm going to go through and put another coat or 2 of oil on it. And then we're going to get the frame out, the bottom frame that goes around here. And we're going to set it out to see if there needs to be any leveling done. This is the beginning of us actually putting the greenhouse together after working forever on the deck. So I guess I just wanted to come on and say here's the start. Lots of little pieces. You can get a... Here's your instruction book. There's no written instructions, but there's diagrams, and every part does seem to be either labeled on the package or stamped on the piece itself. We've been working on it for an hour or 2. I'm not sure because I haven't checked the time. Let me kind of just give you a rundown of where we're at. Okay, we've got the base done. And we squared it up. We got these uprights on finger tight, and now we're getting ready to get a wrench and tighten them. And I will say, if you need written instructions, you may have trouble with it. If you're able to look at a picture and build, you should be fine. Most of the pieces either have a sticker or are stamped with the item number. There are a couple screws that we've come into so far that didn't have a stamp or any kind of sticker that made them obvious, but it was the only 2 screws that were like that, so it was kind of easy to figure it out through the process of elimination. If you need step-by-step written instructions, you may want to go on the internet and see if you can find a video or someone who's made a video on how to put it up. I'm finding it fairly easy with the pictures that are given so far. They do a pretty good job of showing the details. Yes, it is easier with 2 people. Some of the things it's just easier to do with 2 people, like screwing in some of the things from the bottom. You need someone to kind of lift it up while someone else screws it in. So far with 2 people, we're moving right along. I guess we're going to get back to work, and I will show you when we've got more progress made. Alright, this is our stopping point for today. We would keep working, but we're to the point where we're going to be slotting panels in, and everything we've read suggests that to help it stay together, you use silicone caulking when you slide those panels in so they don't flap in the wind as much. It just helps secure them. The percentage is in the 90s in the rain, so given that it's supposed to rain today and we need at least 12 hours before the silicone can be exposed to moisture, we just have to stop today. So we will start back up on a day when there is no rain expected, at least for the day that we're doing it. Alright, I guess I will end this section like I've ended the rest. I will come back and show you when there is more to show you. We are at the point in putting my greenhouse together where we're going to be putting in the plastic panels. And because we're going to be using silicone on them, we need to make sure they're good and dry. But because they've been sitting out here in a box, the box that they came in, I'm sure that there's condensation and moisture between the panels. So what I'm going to do is get them and lay them out in the sunshine so they can be drying. Alright, this is the box. I'm going to take these out, and then it'll be on to the next step of construction. Just want to kind of show you, I have these laying everywhere. There were more pieces than I thought. Just a quick view. I've got them laying here drying out. And I know those are in shade, but they won't be all day. Then I've got more laying here. More laying here. All the way down here. And then even a few over there. And yes, those are laying in shade. They won't be in shade all day. Plus I'm running out of places up here to put them. Alright, I just wanted to show you how many pieces there were, because there were a lot more than I thought. Okay, we're still out here building on this greenhouse, and I wanted to show you a couple things that we know that we've come across that may cause confusion. It's really been straightforward, all except for this couple of things, so I'm going to go ahead and point those out to you. Okay, we have this bar that goes across here, and this was kind of confusing to us because this bar literally only goes on to put these panels in place. Once you get these panels in place, this bar comes off and you use it over here on the other side, which isn't built yet. And when we put this bar in, we had bolts that went in here, and once we got these panels in, these bolts had to be loosened, and they're the bolts that hold it in place here. So when you're on this part, just make sure you do it finger tight. You don't need to tighten it all the way. So we made that mistake. There's a couple other parts where you only have to do finger tight, and the instructions stated that clearly, so we did it there. But on these ones, if it said it, we missed it. So yeah, you kind of just move the bolt from here. It goes up here to lock this in place. And that was confusing to us. But then once you're done, this comes off and you use it on the other side. Okay, this is another thing. Like I said, the instructions are pretty straightforward. But then you get to this page, and in our book it's 22. And it shows these panels and these panels. And we were really confused. We were looking for those panels thinking they didn't send it, or it's not there. What we did not realize is these are two different models. So you will either have these or you will have these. You will not have both. Okay, I just wanted to come on and point out those couple little issues we had up to this point, because like I said, so far everything else has been pretty straightforward. It doesn't have words. I think I've mentioned that a million times. But yeah, if you're doing this, I just wanted to point that out, and maybe it'll help someone down the line. About how you take this bar off to use on the other side. Well, according to the instructions, you take this off, and this bolt is trapped between the plastic and the metal. So you take the nut off and you leave the bolt in place. That's what the instructions say in the book. This right here is the mostly finished product. Walk in here. This is 8 by 12. And we did add these automatic vent openers. And if at all possible, try to get these and do it as you're putting the kit together, because they can be put in after it's all put up, but I feel like it would be easier to do this part of it as you're putting it together. We still need to put the silicone caulking on these panels because we thought that you would do it as you slide them down in, but it's not really, you really can't do them that way. I mean, you might be able to, but it wouldn't be easy. We have had some storms that were fairly windy and they were fine. But they weren't really that bad, so, or the wind wasn't really that bad, so we do want to get that done before winter hits. It was fairly straightforward to put up. I do feel like there are certain parts that you can do alone, and there are other things that you will need another person to do. I really can't tell you much more about it right now. It's fall. Still pretty hot here. Today it's going to be almost 90, so I haven't got to use it yet. I'm just basically waiting for it to get cold enough to use it. And then also I hope to start all my spring seedlings out here. I hope you found this video at least enjoyable to watch and maybe informative in a couple areas. And I can't wait to show you all the things I grow in here. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.